It was a bright and frosty morning in the Hundred Acre Wood. Snow had blanketed the ground, transforming everything into a winter wonderland. Excitement was in the air as the friends prepared for a day of sledding fun. Donald Duck, bundled up in his blue winter coat and hat, was feeling particularly energetic. He loved a bit of friendly competition, so he waddled over to Winnie the Pooh's house with an idea. "Hey, Pooh," shouted Donald, his voice carrying through the crisp air. "How about a sled race today?" Winnie the Pooh, who was just enjoying a spoonful of honey, looked up with sticky delight. "A sled race sounds like a lot of fun, Donald," he replied, rubbing his round tummy. "But I'm not very fast." "That's okay," chuckled Donald, tapping his sled confidently. "It's all for fun." With that, they both dragged their sleds to the top of the nearest hill, which was steep and sparkled in the morning sun. At the top, they were joined by some of their other friends, Piglet, Tigger, and Eeyore. Tigger bounced around enthusiastically. "A race? Oh boy, I'm gonna bounce faster than any sled can slide." Eeyore sighed as he looked at the hill. "Well, we'll see how it goes. Not that it matters much." Donald and Pooh set their sleds side by side. "Ready, on your marks, get set, go," Donald quacked, and off they zipped down the hillside. Despite Pooh's initial doubts, he was keeping up with Donald just fine. As they swished through the snow-covered landscape, they laughed and cheered with every bump and jump. Donald decided to add a bit of his signature flair and began pulling silly faces to distract Pooh. Pooh tried his best to imitate Donald, which resulted in fits of giggles between them. Meanwhile, Tigger was bouncing alongside them, sometimes overtaking, sometimes lagging behind, all the while whooping with glee. As they approached a particularly sharp bend, Donald and Pooh both tried to steer carefully, but ended up in a tangle of sleds and snow. They rolled off, landing in a pile of laughter and snowflakes. Piglet, who had been watching from the sidelines with a comfy hot cocoa, hurried over. "Oh dear, are you all right?" Donald and Pooh looked at each other, their faces covered in snow, and burst out laughing. "That was more fun than making it to the bottom," Pooh said, helping Donald to his feet. They dusted themselves off and noticed that everyone had gathered around, clapping and cheering for the wild ride. "I guess we all won," said Donald with a grin. "Yes," agreed Pooh, "because we had the most fun, and that's what matters." And with that, they spent the rest of the day sledding, playing, and making snowy memories. Piglet, Tigger, and even Eeyore, who managed a small smile by the end. After all, it wasn't about winning, it was about enjoying the day with friends.